Welcome back to the channel. This is part 23 to Road to Becoming a Champion chapter 23, the sensational Saladin Jim. Once the group had their supper with Richie, they had learned a lot about him. It turned out that he and Ash had a lot in common. They both had a strong love for Pokemon and a desire to be a Pokemon master. He was even traveling around Kanto at the moment collecting the gym badges to enter the Pokemon League. Unlike the other rivals the group had met so far on their journey, who were arrogant or just plain mean, they actually got along very well with Richie. It was a nice change of pace to have a possible friendly rivalry rather than a hateful one. Wow. That was the best food I've had in a while. Ash said in delight as he patted his stomach as the group left the restaurant. You sure do know how to pick your restaurants, Richie. Yeah. Saladin City is known to have some of the best food around. I enjoy camping, but it is nice to eat out every now and then once I come to a city. Richie smiled. So Richie, since you are collecting badges like Ash, have you challenged the Saladin gym leader yet? Serena asked him. Yes. I did right before the incident with the power plant and water happened, Richie replied. I was on my way to leave the city when I heard about it. I felt I just couldn't leave when I knew the city was in a crisis, so I went to investigate. Sounds like someone else I know. Ash can't seem to leave problems alone, either, Misty smirked as she gave a knowing look to Ash. Ha ha ha, Ash laughed sarcastically, even though he knew Misty meant it in a good way. So have you challenged the gym leader here yet, Ash? Richie asked. We just arrived here this morning, so I haven't had a chance to. I was planning to go tomorrow, Ash responded. Hey, Ash. If it's okay, would you mind if I watched your gym battle? I really enjoy watching how others battle, and would like to see the bond you have with your Pokemon, Richie said. That would be great. Ash said enthusiastically. Serena smiled as she watched the two. She was very happy Ash had found a male rival that he could get along with. It was almost like he and Richie were twins in almost every category, with the exception of Richie having better table manners. Despite how nice Richie was, he still wasn't the boy who was kind enough to drop everything at summer camp to help her. She will always have her eyes on Ash, no matter how many other nice boys she met. Well, we should probably head back to the Pokemon Center since it's nighttime. I could definitely use a good night's sleep after a day like today, Brock spoke up. Yeah. You coming with us, Richie? Ash asked. You bet, Ash. Richie replied as they began to head in the direction of the Pokemon Center. Behind the group, a certain duck Pokemon was still following them from a distance. It was now the next day, and the group was on their way to Saladin Gym to challenge Erica, the gym leader, for a rainbow badge. It turned out that Ash didn't get the rest he had hoped for when challenging a gym leader, because he was too busy talking to Richie last night. They had talked about all sorts of things such as what their favorite Pokemon was, what their childhood was like, and so on. Ash could say Richie was the coolest guy he had met recently. They were almost just alike. Despite Ash was a little tired today, he didn't let that deter him from getting a badge. Ash was pumped for his battle against the Saladin gym leader. If he could win, he would be halfway to the Pokemon League. He would be completing a milestone today in his journey, so he had to win. He had already heard that Erica used grass-type Pokemon, so that gave him a slight advantage, so he could decide which Pokemon he could use. Charmander and Pidgeotto would no doubt be the best choices as they had an advantage over grass-type Pokemon, but he also knew that both Pokemon liked a huge challenge. It was with this in mind he decided against using them in his upcoming battle. He could use Bulbasaur in this battle, since there would be no advantage or disadvantage. Krabby had never had a gym battle before, and was a water type, but it had proved quite capable when it came to dealing with grass types, so it might not be a bad idea to use either. Ash also knew Squirtle was a tough battle, but had yet to see how it fared against types it had a weakness to. Then of course, there was his best bud, Pikachu. It had won all 3 gym battles for him so far, so doubt it could do well here despite the disadvantage against grass types, or he could call Professor Oak and use his newly captured muck. Decisions. Well, here is the gym, Richie announced once the group arrived. The group took in the gym's appearance and thought it looked like a giant shop more than anything. There were all kinds of bottles of perfume adorning the windows. As the group was about to enter the gym, they noticed an older man kept peeking into the different windows. They stopped and gave him a questioning look. The man noticed their gaze and gave a mischievous smile. "Hehehe, this gym is great," he said. "It's full of beautiful women." Serena and Misty rolled their eyes at this comment, thinking this man was some kind of pervert. They then gave a sideways glance at Brock as he looked offended by the look they were giving him. "Hey. I love beautiful women, but I'm no peeping Tom," Brock said defensively. "Whatever," Misty replied as the group entered the gym. As soon as they entered, they were met with the strong smell of various perfumes in the gym. There were even more types of perfumes in here. I guess I forgot to mention that the gym leader Erica makes perfume on the side. She really is amazing with the different kinds she makes, Richie told the group. "I bet she is incredibly beautiful," Brock said as he turned red. "I can't wait to meet her. One peek is good enough for me." Serena and Misty gave Brock a weird look, again causing Brock to turn red in embarrassment this time. "I'm not a peeping Tom," Brock exclaimed again. By now, Ash and Richie had gone up to the front desk where the receptionist was at. Ash had never been in a gym like this before, so Richie needed to guide him on what to do. He told Ash he must formally request a match at the receptionist's desk. "Hello, ma'am," Ash said. "My name is Ash Ketchum. I'm here to formally request a gym battle with Erica for a rainbow badge." The receptionist gave an apologetic smile. "I'm sorry, but Erica is unable to have a gym battle at the moment. She was just about to start teaching one of her classes on perfume making. She will be available afterwards, though." Ash gave a small sigh that he would have to wait, but Misty and Serena ran up to the desk upon hearing that bit of news from the receptionist. "Did you say a perfume making class?" Misty asked. "Why, yes. Erica has these types of classes daily, where she shows everyone the joys to making perfume as well as making your own." "Oh. That sounds so awesome," Misty exclaimed. "I know." Serena agreed as she turned to clap hands with Misty. She imagined all the different kinds of perfumes she could make. She could see it now. She would try one of the perfumes, and would smell so nice. Ash would comment on how good she smelled, and always want to be around her. Serena was just about to ask Ash what type of perfumes he likes, until she heard his next statement. "I'll pass. Perfumes seem kind of boring to me," Ash said. Serena face faulted once she heard him say that. So much for impressing Ash with any perfumes. "It's your loss, Ash Ketchum," Misty told him. She then addressed the other members of the group. "What about you guys?" "I suppose I will go, too," Serena said in a somewhat disappointed tone. "Well, us guys can go do something while you girls have fun at the perfume class," Ash said as he turned to Brock and Richie. "Actually, it might be fun to study the various types of secrets Erica uses in her perfumes," Richie commented. Huh. Yeah. Perfumes from Erica," Brock mumbled with a dreamy expression on his face. "Okay, well I guess it's just you and me, Pikachu," Ash said until he saw the rodent make its way over to the group going to the perfume class, as well. "What? You too, Pikachu?" Ash exclaimed. "Pick up I," it responded, as it gave Ash a sheepish expression. "Now what am I supposed to do?" Ash asked. "You could always come with us, Ash. You might enjoy it," Misty responded with her hands on her hips. "I guess I don't have a choice." "Fine," Ash sighed. It was then a young woman with short violet hair held back by a headband and green eyes came out into a lobby. "Hello," the woman said in a kind voice as Brock immediately looked love-struck. My name is Erica. The class on perfume making is ready to begin for those that are interested. So this is Erica, Ash thought. Serena, Misty, Brock, Richie, Pikachu, and few other people followed Erica towards a room in the back, while Ash brought up the rear. All he had to do was endure this class, and he would have a shot at the rainbow badge. The group was led into a large room with different plants along the side. In the center of the room was a massive clearing. In addition to having classes here, Ash also assumed this is where gym battles took place as well, which upon asking Richie, was confirmed. Please have a seat everyone, Erica said pleasantly as everyone sat on the ground. She then began to go over the various methods of making perfumes to everyone. Serena, Misty, Richie, Pikachu and the other people in the group eagerly listened to her lecture. Brock mainly had his eyes on Erica the whole time, rather than her lecture, while Ash tried his hardest to stay awake the whole time. Pikachu mainly had an indifferent expression on its face. Erica's lecture consisted of various notes, demonstrations, and even showing the Pokemon she uses to help make her perfumes. Her main one that she used was Vileplume, and explained it was her first Pokemon when it saved her from a Grimer when she was a little girl. After her lecture, Erica let the group get some hands-on experience which Serena and Misty were eager to try. They were actually going to get to make their own perfumes and let their grass-type Pokemon help out. Misty, Brock, and Richie didn't have any, but Serena decided to use her Oddish, while Ash used Bulbasaur. In front of them were various types of ingredients ranging from flowers to oils to things even labeled secret ingredient. Ash may have thought the lecture was boring, but discovered that mixing perfumes was actually kind of fun. He enjoyed trying different things and occasionally let Bulbasaur and Pikachu share their input or have Bulbasaur sprinkle various powders from its bulb into the bowl containing the concoction. Serena was doing likewise with her Oddish and glad she was having time to bond with it, since she hadn't really had a chance since it started traveling with her. Once Serena thought she had made a good scent, she smelled it, and thought it smelled wonderful. She then called Erica over to ask for her input. Erica was impressed that Serena had made such a good scent on her first try. She then decided to ask for Ash's opinion. So Ash, what do you think of the perfume scent I made? Serena asked. Ash shrugged as he took a quick sniff. Whoa. That actually smells pretty nice, Serena. Way to go, he praised. You mean it, Ash? Serena asked hopefully. Yeah. It's really good, Ash said again. Serena smiled and blushed. Maybe she could impress Ash with perfume, after all. The best part was that she made it. She was very happy and thanked Oddish for its help as well. Once the class was over, Erica took the different mixtures everyone had made and told them they could be brought to the factory to be made into actual perfumes, which delighted the ones who made good ones like Serena and Misty. Erica then explained that the perfumes would be ready that evening for them to pick up. With that, she dismissed the class. What did you think of the class, Ash? Serena asked. Actually, it was a lot better than I thought it would be, Ash answered truthfully. The lecture was boring, but mixing different types of ingredients to make perfumes was fun. See, Ash. It wasn't so bad, after all, was it? Misty asked. Ash nodded his head, but now that the class was over, he wanted to do what he came here to do in the first place. He wanted to challenge Erica for the rainbow badge. He saw that she was gathering her things that she had used for a lecture. Not knowing if he would get a chance later, he decided to go ahead and ask. He hoped he wasn't being rude. Excuse me, Erica? Ash asked as he approached her. Oh, yes? How can I help you? Erica asked, giving him a kind smile which caused Brock to heat up from a distance. My name is Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town. I'm on a journey to be the best Pokemon Master and have come to challenge you for a rainbow badge, he said. Oh. Ash Ketchum. You must be one of the people who saved our city. As the gym leader, allow me to thank you personally," Erica said with a smile and a bow. "Thanks. I'm just glad I could help," Ash responded as he brought his hand to the back of his head. "Very well, Ash. I will be pleased to have a match with you. Give me some time to prepare, and I will meet you back here in 20 minutes, Erica replied. "Great. Thank you." Ash smiled. It was now time for Ash to have his fourth gym battle. He had some time to think about which Pokemon he was going to use. After giving it some thought, Ash had decided to use Krabby, Bulbasaur, and Pikachu for this battle. He was now standing on the opposite side of Erica with a judge between the two of them. Serena, Misty, Brock, and Richie were watching from the sidelines. This will be an official match between the gym leader, Erica, and Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town with the Rainbow Badge at stake. It will be a 3-on-3 match with only the challenger allowed to make substitutions. There will no time limit. "Begin," the judge shouted. "Go Tangela." Erica shouted as she threw her ball, to reveal a Pokemon completely covered in bluish-green vines. In short, it looked like a walking ball of noodles. "A Tangela, huh?" Ash said as he scanned it with his Pokédex. Tangela, the vine Pokemon. Blue vines cloak this Pokemon's identity in a tangled mass. It ensnares anything that gets too close, the Pokédex spoke. "In that case, I will choose Krabby," Ash said as he threw his Pokeball forward. Ash is going to use Krabby in this gym? It's never had a real battle, and it's a water type. Misty said in confusion. "Hold on, Misty. We'll see what Ash is up to," Brock replied. "I haven't known Ash long, but he cares a lot about Pokemon, and he wouldn't use Krabby unless he thought it could win," Richie commented. "Come on, Ash." Serena thought as she brought her hands to her face and blushed. Ash trained his Pokemon so hard, and hoped that training would pay off. "You are going to use a water type? That's very bold of you," Erica commented. "Yeah. Krabby and I have a few tricks up our sleeve, don't we, Krabby?" Ash asked, receiving a confirmation from Krabby. "Very well, but I shall not lose easily," Erica replied. Tangela, use Vine Whip to grab Krabby. Tangela shot out a few of its many vines, but Ash was ready. "Go, Krabby. Snap all of those vines with your pincers," Ash shouted. Just like it had against Bulbasaur, Krabby began snapping the vines with great precision, which rendered the Vine Whip useless. "That's impressive." Erica smiled. "But try this. Use a Leech Seed, Tangela." Ash had seen this coming, and remembered that catching it still activated the Leech Seed, so he had been working with Krabby for a way to counter it. He had learned it could be knocked away, if it was quick enough, and Ash knew the perfect move. "Krabby. Use Crabhammer to knock the Leech Seed back towards Tangela," Ash called. Krabby charged up on its large pincers, and swung it right at the small seed sailing towards. The Leech Seed was successfully reciprocated, and sent right back towards Tangela. Tangela was deeply surprised, and therefore didn't dodge the attack. Instead, the Leech Seed landed on Tangela, which caused even more vines to wrap around the vine Pokemon and suck its energy instead. "That was great, Krabby. Now use Stomp," Ash yelled. Krabby leaped high into the air, and prepared to land on Tangela, but Erica wasn't giving in that easily. "Tangela. Use Stun Spore," shouted Erica. Despite its energy being depleted, Tangela began emitting brown powder from all over, which hit Krabby in midair. Krabby immediately began to feel the effects of the attack, and had to halt its stomp because of the pain. It instead landed ungracefully onto the ground quite hard. "Krabby. Are you okay?" Ash asked frantically. Krabby tried to respond, but was unable to. It was struggling to even stand right now due to the Stun Spore. "Ash made a bad decision by getting Krabby into the air," Brock said grimly. He got overconfident and that left Krabby wide open for an attack. "Now that Krabby is paralyzed, go in for a slam attack, Tangela," Erica told it. Tangela obeyed as it ran forward despite the leech seed, and collided with Krabby very hard. The river crab Pokemon was sent flying backwards onto the ground. It then struggled to try and get back up, but was having a very difficult time. There has got to be a way to get that stun spore off of it, Ash thought. He then thought back to his battle with Misty at Cerulean Gym, whenever Staryu had faced Butterfree. The Staryu was always able to wash off the powders in the pool. There were no pools in this gym, but Krabby was still a water-type Pokemon. He knew what he could do. Krabby, use Water Pulse on yourself, Ash hollered. Krabby turned upward, and with some effort, managed to shoot several balls of water into the air. They then fell down, and began to completely drench Krabby. Once it was finished, Krabby shook itself several times, and looked as good as new. The stun spore had been washed off. Ah, that was smart to have Krabby use Water Pulse on itself to wash off the powder, Brock acknowledged. I'm impressed too. Ash is really good, Richie agreed. He learned that trick from me, Misty smirked. Krabby looked and saw Tangela was charging in for another slam attack, but Ash wasn't going to let that happen. Krabby, use Vice Grip to grab Tangela, Ash yelled. Krabby got its pincers ready, and grabbed Tangela as soon as it rammed into it. It then became a fierce battle of each Pokemon trying to push the other back in a game of strength. Each trainer was encouraging their Pokemon to not give up. Erika gave a smile. Your Krabby is busy using its pincers, but Tangela still has several vines to use. Tangela, use Vine Whip. Not so fast, Ash said back. Krabby, use Bubble Beam. Both Pokemon launched their attacks at the same time, but Krabby was slightly faster shooting out its bubbles than Tangela was its vines. The Bubble Beam made a direct hit right in Tangela's face. Even though the attack didn't do much damage, the very close proximity at which it hit left Tangela dazed just long enough for Ash to get another attack in. Now, lift Tangela above your head, and send it flying, Ash commanded. Krabby lifted Tangela high into the air, and flung it as hard as it could across the room. The vine Pokemon soared through the air, and hit the ground a short distance in front of Erika. The leech seed sucked energy from Tangela one last time, and it was down for the count. Tangela is unable to battle. The victor is Krabby, the judge said, pointing in Krabby's direction. Alright. You did it, Krabby. I knew you could do it, Ash praised. Koki Koki. Krabby responded with a smile as it clicked its pincers. It looked quite pleased that it won its first real match. Wow. Krabby actually pulled it off, Misty said in surprise. Yeah. Ash wasn't lying when he said he and Krabby had a few tricks up their sleeves. Krabby did a really good job, Brock agreed. Serena watched Ash congratulate Krabby as a blush appeared on her face. Ash is such a good battler, and he always finds a way to overcome the odds. He's so amazing, she thought. Erika sadly returned Tangela to its Pokeball, and gave it a sad smile. Thank you for your hard battling, Tangela. Take a good rest, she told it. Erika then smiled at Ash. You overcame the type disadvantage with your Krabby, and pulled off a victory. That was impressive. Thanks, Erika. Ash smiled. Let's see if you can handle my next Pokemon, Erika said as she pulled out another Pokeball. Go, Victreebel. A large, yellow Pokemon that resembled a Flitrup with its mouth on top its head appeared from the Pokeball, and gave an ear-splitting shriek. Now we have a Victreebel to deal with, Ash said as he scanned it with his Pokédex. Victreebel, the flycatcher Pokemon and the evolved form of Weepable. It lures prey with an alluring aroma as a trap, the Pokédex explained. Are you still up for battle, Krabby? Ash asked it. Koki, Krabby responded in the affirmative. Okay, Krabby. Start things off with a Crabhammer, Ash yelled. Krabby ran forward as its pincer glowed, ready to deliver the attack. Use Razor Leaf, Victreebel, Erika called. Victreebel shot a flurry of leaves at Krabby, but it didn't let that stop it. You know what to do, Krabby. Ash told it. Krabby nodded and began to cut up many of the leaves with its pincers. It wasn't able to get all of them due to the amount, but still kept the damage done to a minimum. Krabby then leapt up and slammed its right pincer straight into Victreebel. Way to go, Ash. Serena cheered. It seems like the physical grass type attacks aren't working against your Krabby, so I will have to try something else. Erica said. Victreebel. Use Energy Ball. Since the gym room was built like a greenhouse, Victreebel was able to get a lot of sun. It got a brief charge from sunlight and shot a glowing white orb at Krabby at an alarming speed, surprising it. It hit Krabby dead on for a super effective hit. Krabby was knocked backwards and gave a weak croak. Krabby. Are you okay? Ash asked when the river crab Pokemon didn't get back up. Krabby is unable to battle. The winner is Victreebel, the judge shouted. It seems Erica had figured out Krabby's weakness to special attacks. I guess it was expected Ash couldn't keep that up forever, Brock said sadly. Krabby still battled really well, Serena added. Of course. I never said it didn't. It's just Ash should have changed his strategy while he had the chance or recalled Krabby, Brock replied. Ash recalled Krabby to its Pokeball and gave it a smile. Thanks a lot, Krabby. You battled incredibly well. Take a good rest, he told it, before he chose his next Pokemon. Bulbasaur. I choose you, he shouted as he released the Bulb Pokemon. Bulbasaur faced Victreebel and looked ready for battle. Okay, Bulbasaur. Leap into the air. Ash told it. Bulbasaur shot out its vines and slapped the ground, which gave it a boost to leap high off the ground. Now use Vine Whip. Ash shouted. Victreebel. Use your Vine Whip as well. Erica said. Both Pokemon launched their respective Vine Whips and grabbed each other with them. Due to the momentum Bulbasaur was giving, while it was in the air, it soared over Victreebel's head. It used the momentum to drag Victreebel as well, and flung Victreebel in an arc motion with its vines. Victreebel soared over Bulbasaur and was slammed into the ground. Great, Bulbasaur. Ash praised. You forgot Victreebel still has its vines wrapped around Bulbasaur. Erica smiled. Do it, Victreebel. Victreebel lifted Bulbasaur off of the ground and began to slam it as well. Bulbasaur did likewise with Victreebel, and soon both Pokemon were locked into a slamming contest with their respective Vine Whips. Ash knew this wasn't going to get him anywhere, so he had Bulbasaur fire a Razor Leaf at Victreebel in order to get it to let go. Despite the minimal damage, Victreebel was startled enough to release Bulbasaur from the Vine Whip, and Bulbasaur did likewise with Victreebel. Both Pokemon were panting heavily after being slammed into the ground so many times. Ash didn't know how much more his Bulbasaur could take. It was then that Ash noticed Bulbasaur's bulb looked somewhat strange. It seemed to be taking in various amounts of energy into it. Ash looked around, and it seemed to be absorbing the sunlight that was pouring into the Celadon gym. Once it was finished, it glowed white. Awesome, Bulbasaur. You learned Solar Beam. Ash said happily. Let it fly. Oh no you don't. Victreebel use Energy Ball. Erica shouted. Bulbasaur let loose a massive amount of energy from its bulb, while Victreebel unleashed the same spherical ball of energy that defeated Krabby. Both attacks soared past each other and struck their targets dead on, causing a massive explosion. Bulbasaur. Ash cried. Everyone was waiting for the smoke to clear. Once it did, both Bulbasaur and Victreebel were crumpled in a heap. It was a double knockout. Both Pokemon are unable to battle. Now Erica and Ash have one Pokemon left, the judge announced. Oh, poor Bulbasaur, Serena said sadly. It worked so hard to learn Solar Beam for Ash, but even that wasn't enough to beat Victreebel. It might have been Solar Beam that caused the draw, Brock reasoned. Victreebel is an evolved Pokemon, while Bulbasaur is in its first stage. Naturally, all of Victreeble's attacks should overpower Bulbasaur. If Bulbasaur hadn't learned Solar Beam, Victreeble might have beaten it due to being stronger. Despite not being able to battle, Bulbasaur raised its head off the ground and looked at Victreeble in slight anger. It had been so strong when it was protecting Pokemon and the Hidden Village. Bulbasaur knew that Ash's training wasn't the problem. It was itself. Pokemon just seemed to have to evolve in order to get stronger, but Bulbasaur didn't want to be that way. It once had a dream to become a Venusaur, but after this loss, it didn't feel that way anymore. It didn't want to have to evolve in order to win battles for Ash. No matter what, Bulbasaur vowed to get a lot stronger and win just the way it is. Once it proved to itself that it was strong enough as a Bulbasaur, it would consider evolving. It certainly wouldn't be anytime soon, though. Bulbasaur then felt the red beam of light go over it as it was returned to the Pokeball. Ash looked sadly at the Pokeball and let out a small smile. You did your best, Bulbasaur, and knocked out Victreeble. Thanks for battling so hard, he said. Ash was now down to one last Pokemon, and so was Erika. Ash was strongly considering to use Charmander or Pidgeotto, so he could have the type advantage. Erika had proven to be a very strong grass-type gym leader. She was a lot better than he first made her out to be when he saw she made perfumes on the side. Since grass types were strong against electric types like Pikachu, Ash wasn't sure if he wanted to take that risk. Ash was just about to make his decision to use Pidgeotto when he felt a tug on his pant leg. Ash looked down to see it was Pikachu. It nodded its head at Ash and got determined expression on its face to let Ash know it was ready to battle. You're saying you want to battle? Ash asked. Pie Pikachu. Pikachu said as it nodded. Even though you have a type disadvantage? Ash asked again. Choo choo Pikachu, it nodded again. But I have a lot at stake with the rainbow badge, Ash protested. Pika Pika Pikachu, it said. You're saying I have nothing to worry about because you'll win? Ash guessed again. Pika. Pikachu replied. Ash thought about Pikachu's words and realized it was right. Pikachu had overcome the odds many times before. Some notable ones included Brock's Onix, Mr. Starmie, and Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. So what if Erika used Pokemon that had an advantage over electric types? Pikachu wasn't like any other electric type out there. It could win. Ash knew he could trust Pikachu with anything, and got a surge of confidence. You got it, Pikachu. Ash said to it. I choose you. Pikachu smiled at Ash and ran out onto the battlefield, where it stood to wait for Erika's final Pokemon. I admire your Pikachu's determination, but it will take a lot more than that to beat my next Pokemon. It happens to be my very first Pokemon and the one that saved me a long time ago. Vileplume. I choose you. Erika shouted as she threw the Pokeball. Vileplume was revealed to be a blue Pokemon with rudimentary hands and feet with a huge red flower on top of its head. Are you ready, Pikachu? Ash asked it. Pick up I, it responded. Go, Pikachu. Use Thunderbolt. Ash shouted. Pikachu unleashed the massive electric attack. Vileplume didn't even attempt to dodge the attack. It grimaced a little, but as expected the attack didn't appear to do too much damage. Those electric attacks aren't going to work on Vileplume, Ash. Erika told him. Vileplume, use Petal Dance. Vileplume began to move gracefully, as if it were dancing. Pikachu stared curiously at Vileplume for a moment before Vileplume shot a flurry of beautiful but deadly flower petals from it. They slammed into Pikachu, which knocked it off of its feet and onto the ground. Pikachu! Ash cried. Choo! Pikachu said as it gritted its teeth from the pain and stood to its feet. Vileplume. Use Stun Spore. Erika called. Dodge it quick with agility. Ash countered. Vileplume shot the brown powder from its flower at Pikachu, but Pikachu shot out of the way and began to move at a blinding speed towards Vileplume. Use Iron Tail. Ash hollered. Pikachu charged up its tail as it leaped into the air at Vileplume. It then swung its tail in a circular motion and into Vileplume. It then used the force of a collision to backflip away from Vileplume and land gracefully on the ground. Vileplume fell over from the impact, but wasn't beaten yet. "Alright, Vileplume. Use acid," Erika said. Vileplume began to emit various amounts of light brown liquid at Pikachu. Pikachu then began to dart of the way as best as it could. Vileplume, however, was relentless as it continued to spray at Pikachu. "Use agility to dodge better," Ash called. Pikachu began to speed up until Vileplume could no longer keep up with Pikachu. The yellow rodent ran behind Vileplume and Ash figured it was a good time to attack. "Use quick attack, Pikachu," Ash commanded. Pikachu launched itself at Vileplume and slammed into it. However, Vileplume managed to turn around just before Pikachu collided with it. Vileplume reared back from Pikachu's quick attack, but then pointed its flower directly at Pikachu and shot an acid attack at point blank range. Pikachu screamed in pain as the burning liquid sprayed its body. It crumpled to a heap on the ground. "Chaya," it muttered weakly. "Pikachu. Please tell me you're okay," Ash yelled. Pikachu managed to struggle back to its feet but was clearly getting tired. "I think we need to finish this with Solar Beam," Erika said. Vileplume began to absorb as much sunlight as it could through the greenhouse-like battlefield. Ash knew that, if Pikachu was struck with Solar Beam, that would probably be the end of the match. He had to take advantage of Solar Beam's slow charge. "Pikachu. Attack Vileplume with Iron Tail," Ash said. Pikachu charged up its tail and leaped into the air to use Iron Tail, but Erika was ready. "We thought you might do that. Use Stun Spore, Vileplume," Erika called, which took Ash and Pikachu completely by surprise. Vileplume sprayed the Stun Spore all over Pikachu while it was in mid-air. Pikachu screamed as the paralyzing powder began to take effect. It wasn't going to let up, though. It kept its tail glowing white and slammed it on top of Vileplume despite the pain. However, Vileplume continued charging the Solar Beam. "I don't understand. How can Vileplume still use Stun Spore while charging Solar Beam?" Ash said in confusion. "Most Pokemon are unable to, but I've had my Vileplume so long that we were able to undergo special training to make up for Solar Beam's slow charge up time," Erika answered. Ash grimaced. His Pikachu was totally helpless now that it was paralyzed. It was a sitting duck just waiting for Solar Beam to finish charging. Once it hit, that would be the end of the match. "Ash. Stop the match while you can to avoid hurting Pikachu more," Misty called. Ash clenched his fists and was just about to call the match when he saw Pikachu begin moving toward Vileplume despite the Stun Spore. "Pikachu. Don't push yourself," Ash called. "Choo-oh." Pikachu shook its head and gave a thumbs up signal to Ash to let it know it still wanted to fight until the end. Ash then realized Pikachu would never just give up a match like that. That wasn't the kind of Pokemon that Pikachu was. He always told his friends to never give up until the end. Likewise, he had his friends tell him to never give up until the end. He even heard Serena just now. "Ash. Never give up until the end," Serena shouted. Ash then saw Pikachu's expression on its face. If Pikachu could speak human language, it would be telling him to never give up until the end as well. They could do this, but they had to hurry, because Solar Beam was almost finished charging. "Alright, Pikachu. Attack with all you've got," Ash hollered. "Those two certainly do trust each other," Misty commented. "Well, this is Ash and Pikachu we are talking about," Brock reminded. Richie said nothing as he continued to watch. He really admired Ash and Pikachu's dedication. Serena had her hands clasped as her eyes sparkled. She knew that those two could overcome any obstacle attempted. Pikachu was relentlessly attacking Vileplume as hard as it could, whether it be from Ninetales or quick attacks. Its attacks were pretty sloppy, since it was feeling the effects of Stun Spore, but were still causing the damage they needed to. Vileplume was starting to fatigue pretty fast from Pikachu's onslaught of attacks. Nonetheless, it finished charging Solar Beam and was ready to attack back. Use Solar Beam on Pikachu, Erika said. Counter with Thunderbolt, Pikachu, Ash hollered. Both attacks soared from each Pokemon and collided midway, causing a huge explosion which blew back both Pokemon and causing a lot of smoke. Ash, Erika, and everyone else in the gym were waiting anxiously for the smoke to clear. They had no clue who would be victorious because both Pokemon had been injured pretty badly. The smoke finally cleared to reveal both Pokemon lying on their backs and not showing any signs of getting up. Pikachu, Ash called worriedly. Even if the match ended in a draw, he still wouldn't get the rainbow badge. Both Pokemon are, the judge began, but stopped. Pikachu gave a yell as it pulled itself to its feet and stood there, panting but still on its feet, showing it could still fight. Everyone then looked over to Vileplume to see if it would get back up also. It was still on its back and unmoving. Vileplume, Erika called, but got no response. Only Vileplume is unable to battle. Pikachu can still fight. That means the winner of this match is Ash Ketchum, the judge declared. Ash stood in shock. This had been one of his closest battles yet. Despite incredible odds, his Pikachu had once again overcome them. Ash's face broke out into a wide grin. Alright, Pikachu. Ash cheered as he ran forward to hug his Pokemon, but made sure to be gentle, because it was still under the effects of Stun Spore. Pikachu smiled weakly back at Ash. Do I have the greatest Pokemon, or what? Ash smiled. You were amazing, buddy. I should know by now you will never let me down. Pikachu gave a smile again, before falling asleep in Ash's arms after the tough battle against Erika's Vileplume. Ash's bond with his Pokemon is so incredible, Serena thought. She thought it would be a good idea to learn from Ash about what she could do to form stronger bonds with her Pokemon. Well, it looks like those two pulled it off again, Misty said as she, Brock, Serena, and Richie joined Ash and Pikachu. You have a really awesome bond with your Pokemon, Ash. You've proven to be a great trainer, and I have no doubt you will reach the Pokemon League, Richie told him. Thanks, Richie, Ash replied as he and Ash shook hands. Erika then approached him. I'm truly impressed with the strong bond you have with your Pokemon, Ash. You have taught me a few things as well. You definitely deserve this rainbow badge, Erika praised as she handed Ash a flower-shaped badge of many colors. Thanks, Erika, Ash responded as he took the badge from Erika and held it out in front of him. Alright. I got the rainbow badge. You're now halfway to the Pokemon League, Ash, Serena told him. Yep. Just 4 more to go. Ash smiled. Also, here is a Paralyze Heal for Pikachu, Erika added as she handed Ash a small, clear bottle. Ash gratefully accepted the bottle before spraying it on Pikachu. The rodent gave a slight squirm, but soon relaxed in Ash's arms again. It would be just fine. It was now late in the afternoon. The group had just been to the Pokemon Center to heal Ash's Pokemon, and were now standing in front of Richie, who had Sparky next to him. It sure was nice meeting all you, Richie smiled. But I'm afraid this is where we part ways for now. I've been in Celadon City long enough, and need to continue my journey. That's too bad, Ash said with a slightly disappointed look. I was kind of hoping you would consider traveling with us. I really appreciate the offer, but I decided long before I started my journey that I wanted to travel alone, Richie responded. I gotcha, Ash said. It's not like this is goodbye forever. We will definitely see each other at the Pokemon League, right? Richie asked. You got it, Richie. I'll see you there, Ash said enthusiastically as he shook his new friend's hand. Pikachu and Sparky went to each other and shook hands. Then, they shook each other's tails, as well. Hey, Serena. I wish you the best of luck in your Battle Chateau challenge tomorrow, Richie called to her. Thanks a lot, Richie. Best of luck collecting the rest of your badges, Serena smiled back. Until then guys, I'll see you all later, and thanks for everything. Richie said with a final wave as he and Sparky turned to leave. The group waved back to him, and Ash called out, "Hey Richie. Remember we promised to see each other at the Pokemon League. See you then." "See you there, Ash." Richie called back as he continued to wave. He was soon out of sight. "It sure was nice to find a rival you can actually be friends with," Brock said. "Yeah," Ash agreed as he turned to Brock. "I can't wait to see him again. I just wish I could have seen his battle also at the Celadon gym." "Oh, that reminds me," Serena said as she reached into her backpack. "My perfume I made there was ready by the time your gym battle was done. What do you think of it, Ash?" She then held the bottle up to Ash for him to take a quick sniff. "Hey. That's really good, Serena. I bet you'll smell awesome with that perfume on." "Do you really think so?" Serena asked with a blush on her face. "I know so," Ash responded. Serena giggled in response. She was happy she was able to find a perfume that Ash approved of. She couldn't wait to try it on and see what Ash thought of her then. "Hey, don't forget my perfume," Misty reminded as she got her bottle of perfume as well. "Go on. Take a sniff." Ash was just about to take a sniff when the group heard certain duck Pokemon cry, "Sai!" behind them. The group was startled so much that they yelped in surprise, and Misty dropped her perfume bottle on the ground. It shattered and the liquid spilled all over the ground. "No. My perfume!" Misty cried as she slapped her hands against her cheeks in horror. The group turned around and saw none other than Siddiq as the culprit who had scared the group half to death. It stood facing the group with a blank expression on its face with its hands on its head like it hadn't done anything wrong just now. "You stupid Pokemon. You just made me break my bottle of perfume." Misty screamed at it. "Sigh," the duck Pokemon asked as it tilted its head to the side. "Now Misty. Come on. Try to calm down. Remember. It did save our lives twice back at the power plant," Brock said soothingly. Misty began taking several deep breaths as she tried to resist the urge to scream again. "Fine. Let's just go, Misty," declared with a huff as she quickly turned on her heel to hurry off. Unfortunately in her haste, Misty tripped over a rock and fell to the ground which caused a few Pokeballs to unclip from her belt. The balls then rolled forward in front of Siddiq. Siddiq looked curiously at the Pokeballs for a second before pressing the button on one of them with its beak and allowed itself to be sucked into the Pokeball. The Pokeball immediately leading to signify the capture, since Siddiq didn't struggle at all. "Ah!" Misty screamed. "Now that thing is inside one of my Pokeballs." "Well, what do you know, Misty?" Ash asked in an amused tone. "It looks like you accidentally captured Siddiq." "Congratulations," Brock said. "Don't congratulate me," Misty whined. "Now I have to be the trainer of this dimwit duck." "I'm sure it can't be that bad, Misty," Serena said as she pulled out her Pokédex to get some more information of Siddiq. "Siddiq constantly suffers from a headache," the Pokédex's monotonous voice said. "You mean to tell me this thing always has a headache?" Misty yelled in disbelief as she looked at her Pokeball containing Siddiq in anger. "Hehe, that's pretty funnier, I mean bad," Ash corrected once he saw the intense glare Misty gave him. "Ugh. Now I'm the one with the headache," Misty complained as she grabbed her head in frustration. The group couldn't help but be amused at Misty's predicament. It was true Siddiq was pretty annoying, but it deserved the love of a good trainer just like any other Pokemon. They knew that even though Misty seemed extremely annoyed and angry right now, that she was the right trainer for Siddiq. Maybe it was just how opposite they were that made them seem to click. The group had no doubt they would be annoyed by Siddiq's antics from now on, but it had saved their lives twice so far, and that was good enough for them. It would receive the same amount of love that all of their other Pokemon received. "Welcome to the team, Siddiq," Ash, Serena, and Brock said happily to the Pokeball. The Pokeball wiggled a little in response. Gah! Misty screamed in annoyance one last time.